This number will keep on increasing day after day, but as of today there are 59.57 who should be filing, have been filing this return and who should have paid their tax by 25th of August. Now, till 10 a.m. today morning, out of this 59.57, 38.38 lakhs have filed their return. And therefore, till today morning of the eligible people for July, 64.42% have complied so far. Now, these 64.42 who have complied, if we take the total amount of tax which has come in till 10 a.m. today morning, that is GST, it is 92,283 crores. So it is 283 crores. This includes a CGST revenue of 14,894 crores, SGST revenue of 22,722 crores, and IGST revenue of 47,469. And out of this 47,469, the IGST from imports is 20,964. Now, in this 92,283 also included is the compensation cess. And the compensation cess for this month of July so far collected is 7,198. Therefore, with 64.42% of the eligible people having made the compliances, we have a GST already of 92,283. The IGST will now be allocated between the central and the states. As far as registrations are concerned, there are a total number of 72.33 lakh taxpayers who have migrated. 72.33 lakhs. Of these, those who have totally migrated by filling in all the forms, some have registered but not filled up all the forms. These are 58.53. So the number of people who have registered but not filled up all the formalities are 13.80. So these people would be in the process. The number of new registrants who have been approved till today morning 10 a.m. is 18.83 lakhs. So this 18.83 would be over and above the 72.33. So thus, in a nutshell, the big picture is that so far 64.42 have complied, and the tax received is 92,283. There is a late filing penalty which will be levied on those who come late. It's a nominal penalty. 100 rupees per day for CGST and 100 rupees for SGST. And so far, some of the people with payments even after 25th are trickling in. So every morning and evening we take the total figure. So the total GST collected for the month of July so far has been 92,283. And obviously when more compliances take place by the latecomers, this figure will somewhat increase.
So this is the gross figure?
This is the gross figure.
Gross figure.
This is the gross figure. Now this takes into account CGST, SGST, IGST and compensation cess.
Okay.
But this is the net
After input.
After input tax.
After input.
It is paid in cash to government. Paid by
That's all.
bank transfer to government. So after availing of input tax credit.
But did you have any target for collections for the first month? Are you satisfied?
Again, the target can only be determined on two bases. As far as the central government is concerned, we fix an indirect tax revenue for the central government at the beginning of each year. So we can work backwards by excluding the custom duty out of it. And so 3 months we had the central excise and the service tax, and for the balance amount has to come in terms of GST. So that's the only way you can work out the central के budget में कितना target हमने दिया था और इन 9 महीनों में कितना कलेक्ट करना है, उसको अगर हम इक्विटेबली डिवाइड कर देते हैं तो आपको पर मंथ जो एंटिसिपेटेड फिगर है वो मिल जाएगा. Similarly, as far as states are concerned, it is easier to calculate. What was their tax collection for the base year? For GST, for states compensation, the base year is 2015-16. So to the 2015-16, you have to add the 14%
For 2 years.
for 2 years, for 16-17 and 17-18. तो दो बार जब 14-14 ऐड करोगे तो आपको स्टेट्स को कितना इकट्ठा करना चाहिए था वो पता चल जाएगा. और बकाया 9 महीने में if you then divide it, so you will get the target of the center and the states.
सर इसमें पंजाब और हरियाणा में इन्वेस्ट की वजह से कई सारे ट्रेडर्स रिटर्न फाइल नहीं कर पाए, फिर टैक्स चुका नहीं पाता. आपको लगता है कि उनको किसी तरह की राहत दी जाएगी या फिर
राहत क्या है? अभी जो लेट फाइल करेंगे 100 रुपया डाल देंगे, मतलब इतनी तो स्थिति है.
So by and large, satisfied with the 92 that you have got so far, you by and large satisfied with this thing for the first month?
Figure
Yes.
anticipated, isn't it?
Yeah, actually.
So see, actually, if you calculate the figure, the central government's target, if you calculate it on the budget bifurcation principle that I told you, then what should come into our kitty for the month of July has to be 48,000 crores. And if you add to the state's 2015-16 collection and add 14% twice over, the state should get 43,000 crores.
So we met the target.
So the total combined target of the two has to be 91,000 crores. But there is a caution in this. So technically with 64.42, we have already exceeded the target. But that's the first view. But there are two asterisk points in this. One, in the first instance, you have to keep the compensation cess away. It's only if there is a shortfall that we'll pay out of that compensation cess, which is 7198. Eventually, compensation cess is also tax. If there is any inadequacy, it will go to fill up. Secondly, you only have 64.42, so hopefully more will come in, which will more than cover up this 7,000. That's the second point to be kept in mind. The third point to be kept in mind is that the sum total, we seem to be comfortable. but we'll have to break up the figures finally to see whether any specific state has not had that 14% increase. In which event, out of this compensation cess, that particular state will have to be compensated.
So by when will it be clear that any state is not fulfilling 14%? Is there a timeline by which it will be clear that this particular state?
देखिए अभी टेंटेटिव होगा क्योंकि अभी 64.42 ने दिया है तो since you people were speculating, we wanted to that position to stop. So at least the red line seems to have been crossed.
Sir, looking at your total direct tax, indirect tax receipts so far, and particularly in the context of less than expected dividend from the RBI, how do you compare the figures at this stage from the fiscal deficit point of view compared to the last
देखिए
year?
अभी पूरा taxation, it's too early for me to really comment on that. The reason being, not many people thought that the red line would be crossed in the first month itself. And if that's the trend, and a lot more people who were otherwise not paying tax are coming into the net, then you have to wait for a few more months to study the pattern itself. So a more efficient tax system checks evasion, brings in the non-filers into the system, more difficult to evade. That seems to be the initial first reaction.
Customs, so we already released the figure, no? Custom growth rate? No, we haven't done it. We already done it. I thought we already done July figure of customs, other than CVD. I think, but anyway, we'll release it if it is not.
What about indirect duties levied on products that are do not come under the ambit of GST? So is that also?
No, yeah, that also, that petroleum products excise duty, that figure plus custom, we already released, I think. If we haven't done it, we'll release it today. We'll put it in public domain.